We are casting the grand finals for the Chinese qualifier. This is LGD versus L.F.Y. Two teams have definitely made it here. L.F.Y. did briefly bounce into the lower bracket, but they proved to be too strong for some of the lower bracket team, beating out both EHOME.Keen as well as Vici coming here yesterday. And I think the general consensus is to say that L.F.Y. is a strong team, but the two teams that they've faced was not really performing at their peak. And I feel like LGD is going to be on a different level of competition, as it were. So we'll see if they're going to be able to continue to rise up to the challenge. And we got a draft on the way. Steven, what do you feel about this draft so far? Sand King and Disruptor for LGD. And then once again, that Troll Warlord for LFY. And yesterday we've been seeing a lot of Troll losing games.
Was it a lot of Troll losing games?
Yeah, aggressive picked Troll twice and they lost. EHOME.Keen picked Troll once and they lost. So the only one win yesterday was when Monet was playing it. Troll was picked all 4 games that we casted.
I mean, I think Troll is a very solid hero.
Yeah.
I just think that they weren't able to capitalize, or yesterday, Vici weren't able to capitalize on the strength of Troll, I feel. They were just like losing before he even finished like 3 of his items or 2 of his items, right?
Right, and it seemed like Troll Warlord, every single game we've seen from all 3 different teams, was going for a fervor max build, building Vlad's, and essentially playing him more of at least how Terrorblade is played early on. You know, you focus on taking those early tier 1 towers. But I think the big difference is that Troll Warlord, if he doesn't have the good laning stage, or if his team doesn't perform well in the lanes, he can struggle, especially in the face of a lot of really bursty heroes like Lina, for example. You just get zapped, you die, and your team just can't push.
Yeah, that's definitely the case, but I mean, after seeing LFY play yesterday, I am pretty confident in their ability to kind of execute a little better with the Troll Warlord. I'm fairly certain that this Troll Warlord is not going to be insignificant in this game.
Right, so yesterday LFY paired the Troll Warlord with Dragon Knight, and if you ever, watch the two of us cast, talking about Super and his Dragon Knight, yes, we do say he is extremely good on the hero, and on that end, I am surprised that LGD did not spend a ban on it.
Well, to be fair, it is LGD versus LGD, right? So
they know?
I'm pretty sure they already know. Yeah, they might have something else planned out for Super, and having the battle trance is just really strong for a lot of different mid laners. It doesn't have to only be a Dragon Knight. It could be a lot of different things. We've seen him play Lina as well, and I think Lina is perfectly fine here as well. Especially after you mentioned how Troll is a little susceptible to that kind of burst damage, but you take the Lina for yourself, you don't have to worry about it too much.
Well,
but
looks like
they are Ember Spirit.
Yeah, going with the Ember set, and then Super is going to go into a DP, so this is a combo we've seen yesterday as well from, I believe, Vici, right? I remember Freeze was playing the hero, and it was essentially the problem of both Troll Warlord and Death Prophet falling behind, which is kind of odd considering how good they are in the laning stage, but in terms of this particular game, Death Prophet is going to be controlled. There's a lot of ways for them to jump the Death Prophet from afar. And even Yule Scepter is not a guarantee save because Disruptor's Glimpse will pull you out of the Yule state. So I feel like this is a pretty ballsy pick if you ask me.
I think it's fine as long as they have an answer for what you just mentioned. So far LGD just has a lot of magic damage.
Right.
It wouldn't be surprising if she went for something like a Hood first, and then she'll be incredibly durable. It's not going to be easy to take her out. And imagine if they pick the hero that can actually keep her alive through, whatever it is that they cast on her.
What about Omni Knight?
Omni Knight? Yeah, Omni Knight is a good answer.
It's in the pool. We saw, I believe, Vici picked it, I think 4th pick or maybe 5th pick yesterday. One of the later stages of picks, because it's very commonly in the Chinese scene currently to take out the Omni Knight relatively early on.
10 seconds to go.
And I gotta say, there's a lot of magic damage coming out of here, so that repel is looking better and better.
What about Rubik? Is it? That's a little greedy though. They're against a Darkseer, and Rubik is just way too weak with the Warlock as well.
Yeah.
That no field would have helped a lot. It's just so much magic damage right now for LGD.
I kind of like CM here quite a bit because, I mean, you play her mostly as greedy 4 jungling, and then she's a really good ganker out of the jungle against Darkseer in particular, but at the same time it feels very, very weak, right? Like, especially during your push, you don't have enough HP as it is, and then you pick, you know, a squishy hero that essentially dies to any residual AoE. But the one thing they have to worry about first and foremost is the vacuum into static storm combo, right? Because if Darkseer ever gets like 2 to 3 heroes in that, the team fight's automatically won for LGD. Considering that you could triple Remnant in, you could Burrow Strike Epicenter into that as well. I feel like maybe a global silence is very necessary in this scenario where, you know, if you see Darkseer running at you, you have to have a ability to counterplay.
Well, that is one way to deal with it. Alternatively, it's to just itemize towards it. You know, BKBs and pipe and hood. Yeah, it's going to be incredibly effective here.
I mean, I hear you, but does DP want to buy BKB or hood?
Oh yeah, of course.
I mean, okay, let me change the phrase, right? She will have to buy it to survive, but I think her normal set of items, she generally would like to skip those if possible, right? She prefers Yules or Shiva's Guard, things like that.
I think you can still delay it long enough. I think it's totally viable if you went for something like Phase Yules, and then going into BKB. Yeah.
Okay.
Or even Phase Yules, Hood, and then BKB. It's actually totally viable as well. I don't know if you watched some of the NP games, but EE's DP went Phase Yules, Blink BKB.
Okay. I think the Blink is a bit YOLO, but, you know, I guess it
was a Blink against a Terrorblade too.
Okay. How did that work out?
10 seconds to go.
Just kite it.
Okay.
Run around in circles. Put Siphon on everyone, run around in circles.
Alright. Well, I don't think this is that type of game.
No, I don't think so either. But
DP
I think they can itemize. I think they can definitely itemize for it.
Okay. Well, in terms of the laning stage, I feel like both Troll Warlord and DP is gonna have respectively fairly decent lanes. Troll Warlord should have a fine time last hitting against, you know, Iron Shell creeps. DP, depending on how the ganks go, should have the lane advantage against Ember Spirit. The right clicks of DP are very high damaging. And there's gonna be a Kunkka coming out here from LFY. We've seen the power of Kunkka.
I actually really like this.
Yeah, the bow is gonna be pretty a substantial defensive boost. At least early on, especially before the hood and BKBs do come out.
Yeah, definitely. So you can just definitely itemize towards reducing all that magic damage, and then pair that up with the Kunkka boat. You're not going to be seeing too much of that magic damage going through.
Reserve time.
Of course, we're kind of like brainstorming this in a very, very positive outlook for LFY, but LGD, like this kind of lineup can easily snowball and completely like destroy them.
Alright, Weaver is going to be the final pickup. The stuns are a bit lacking, though X into Torn is pretty much guaranteed if you could land it properly. Against a 550 movement speed hero, sometimes it can be difficult, but we shall see. Alright, given the pick ban phase just ended, Steve, I'm going to recall you on Discord. It seems like you're sounding a bit robotic.
Sure.
So let's give it a go. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, you sound much better. So I do want to point out a couple of things. Somnus is actually maybe from LGD. So
Okay. I was about to ask you. I was like, so I'm kind of unfamiliar with some of these LGD names, but
5 seconds.
since you pointed that out, then
yep.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit different for me. Yao is playing 4 position now instead of his traditional 3. Because, you know, he's played 3 for how many years? Oh my god, it's for such a long time. But he's the captain. He's a drafter now. He's a shot caller, so maybe easier to do it from the 4 position. Victoria is playing the 5. And then you got 011 playing the 3. 011
he's
from the
from EHOME, right?
yeah. Although EHOME towards this end had a little bit of weird shift, right? Because 011 used to be the carry player, and then Ice play carry for a bit. Do you remember that stint?
That was a while ago.
Yeah.
I don't remember too much about that team, but
That was a pre-Faces state, right? And Faces has been around for at least a year, if not close to 2 now at this point. But we got the game on the way. I didn't really get your opinion on if there's a draft that you favor more than the other.
I actually prefer LGDs. I think it's just much easier to coordinate, and it's very straightforward. You just keep killing people.
Yep, I think so as well. And I think they're less dependent on a specific timing. I feel like LFY have to do well in the laning stage, whereas LGD could do okay, or do perhaps even a little bit poorly in the laning stage, and still team fight their way back. So, yeah, I think LGD's lineup is a bit easier to play, and I've seen a lot of Troll Warlord lose games yesterday. So, let's just say that the doubt of my hero of this hero has increased a bit.
I don't think it's like super far off though. I think LGD. I definitely favor LGD's lineup, but not by that much. I think LFI have more than what it takes to win this game, and I think even if they lose the laning phase, as long as they don't lose like too hard, they have that comeback potential lineup. You have a Warlock, Kunkka. It's just the team fight is going to be there. So even if you're down like, let's say 5 to 10k within 20 minutes, like you can still make a comeback.
Okay. All right, I want to ask you about these 2 wards, right? Obviously, they want to double block to make sure there is no pull, but I believe 1 sentry ward over here will counter both. And isn't that the most common sentry ward placement spot, I think? Like, for example, can you not put the ward here and then here instead to guarantee that one will survive?
That's a good point, but I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like a mind game thing. People will place sentries in a more greedy location.
Okay, well, we'll see if I'll get punished for that. Afu is making the rotation to bottom, Torrent at level 1. And yesterday, we did see Inflame go off, for lack of a better word, on his Batrider. And then he also went off and fed pretty hard, but the important thing is that he did it really well in the laning stage to begin with. And we'll see if he's able to mirror that.
Afu is just going to be stacking right from the start. He's going to make it so that Inflame, regardless of how his laning goes, is going to have a good time afterwards.
Right.
And he's already kind of like making this lane really difficult. Pulling the wave. He's going to get a lot of EXP for this. There's 2 range creeps.
Yeah. I have to say that this is going to be a much harder lane for him, considering that Weaver is definitely a much harder hero to solo kill to begin with, and then, he could harass you very easily. Yesterday he was up against the Troll Warlord, and that was pretty easy.
Perfect pull from Yao. Look at that. Denying everything. He needs to get here for the range creeps.
Oh. Yeah, easy last it.
Oh, he got it.
It's fine.
Range creeps are so important.
Yep. Oh, that one's going to get denied.
Looks like he was in EXP range at least, so he gets the level 2. Afu over here hiding. How is offlane going? Darkseer, Sand King. Pretty strong duo as well.
Sand King is going to be looking for the 2-minute rune. He will be able to tick it up. Remember the old bully lane of choice was like something like Darkseer plus Ogre? And I almost feel like Darkseer Sand King is even stronger because of Caustic Finale once he got leveled up a bit. And of course, Ogre is better than the laning stage, but I think Sand King offers you much more in the mid game.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know if you saw that, but Super denied the regen rune. Didn't even take it for himself. I'm kind of surprised. Yeah.
I mean, maybe he felt dangerous walking down the river, but
that's true.
It looked pretty safe. Granted, he doesn't have, full vision. Alright, so we haven't seen Darkseer in a while. I feel like this hero is perhaps underpicked in the current metagame. Definitely very different from the standard Axe and Slaughter, which is more of like a single target or perhaps ganking initiation. Whereas, the Darkseer is much more about teamfight, but I feel like the hero definitely has his time in place.
Is it underpicked? I feel like it's just it's like always banned out more than anything.
Really? Okay. I haven't seen him banned too often.
I can't remember. I feel like the hero is just definitely still good though.
Looks like in the river or in the jungle. Maybe in a lot of trouble. He's gonna walk to Shrine. No, he's not. Afu. So and the Shrine, I believe, got activated regardless. So double whammy. Victoria ports in. I think popped the Shrine for his ally. But
yeah, he tried to save him with it, but
yeah,
a little too late, unfortunately. It was really close.
You know what? What's the thing that triggers me personally when I'm playing Dota is that sometimes when they're diving into your base, you're getting stunned next to the Shrine, but nobody activates it for you. You're like, God damn it, guys.
It's a classic, honestly. Yeah. Nothing new.
Nothing new.
No, it's nothing new.
Bat Rider stealing a camp in the jungle, or at least tries to do so. Gotta napalm them. Or not.
No. Calculate. JK. Not calculate. Missed quite a few. But it's okay. I mean, all things considered, he's doing very well right now.
Yeah. I mean, he's doing okay. He's not killing people, right? Yesterday we saw him just absolutely destroying people.
What surge is this? Oh no, he doesn't have enough mana. Just kidding.
Clarity.
Calculated.
Actually calculated. And then he's gonna have yet another. Dude, look at this calculation. Look at this. All right, that's gonna put him to a quick 6. All right, he's in it.
Another important thing to point out, by the way, this DP like annihilated Ember Spirit. So Ember Spirit is not going to be off to the good start or off to a good start at all.
Mm-hmm.
This Prophet almost level 6. Ember, what is he? Has the jungle, almost hitting 5. I mean, luckily for him, there is a stack, but he's only got level 2 Flame Guard, so. I mean, about to run out right now, and oh god.
I do agree with you that he is getting beat pretty hard, but as we've seen in the past, I think Ember could kind of come back from these kind of start, right? Like you just find level 6, find a decent early game fight, triple remnant in, then you're kind of back in the game. So
yeah, definitely.
It's not something that Ember Spirit can't recover from, and I almost have to say that this is the laning stage that DP had to start with to actually have a good early game. So. Meanwhile, top lane, Monet, in a lot of trouble here. Double Iron Shell doing a ton of work, but the ring around the Rosie, now the teammates are coming in. X-Torrent coming back. Monet right-clicking. Burrow Strike will come through, and I think that was a kill that perhaps he could have avoided. Both Victoria as well as 011 dropping super low, but they will be okay. Shrine is available to both of them, and a 2-man shower is the best way to shower.
That was such a huge risk from Monet, because... Yeah. I think he definitely had the right idea, but the problem was I think 11 put a new Ion Shell on Victoria when he Burrow Striked in, and you definitely can survive the Burrow Strike and a right click, but not the Ion Shell. So that was a really, really good play from LGD.
I feel like he was in melee form some of that time, whereas if you wanted to attack being in the range form is probably the way to go, but don't know. Well, they see Kunkka coming in, but Kunkka also knows, and they correctly identify that there is a ward watching their movement.
You see this ward in mid?
Which one?
The one on Radiant, or sorry, the one that Dire has on the Radiant ramp.
Okay. What about it?
So what happened was, Afu was one who placed that, right?
Okay.
What he did was he walked into the trees,
like over
and
here?
Pretended like he put the ward. Yeah, he pretended to put the ward on the bottom side. And you see that sentry ward? Yeah, he faked them out.
Oh, that's really smart.
A really, really small thing, but really impressive at the same time. Oh, DP ulti. Yeah, it gets demolished. Uh-oh. Everyone's coming in now.
Triple Remnant is available. Triple Remnant going straight in. Burrow Strike is available. Got the Iron Shell, but the Siphon Soul onto 2 heroes. They're actually regaining the HP very quickly. Victoria in a lot of trouble. That Torrent way off the mark, but hey, it's fine. Ame ports in now. They really want DP, but I think DP is going to be fine here.
Mistake.
The right click, the silence going to be there. They have Lasso available, and that's a dead Weaver. All right, Sand King ports in, dies. Ame says, I want to join the party. Ports in also dies. Sure, the DP Exorcism didn't get a tower, but I would have to say that's probably worth way more than a tower.
Super God.
I know, like these last 2 days. has been extremely impressive for him.
He's a changed man.
Really is. Takes me all the way back to like TI2 days, you know, where he's actually doing well. Playing DK and shit.
He respawned.
Yeah.
Immediately going for the time lapse and is now in the middle of the map.
Good stuff.
Radiant's top tower's in bad shape.
Oh, I just wanted to say he has max out Siphon Soul, or rather Spirit Siphon. Not a build that you commonly see too often, but you could definitely see why it's so good here, right? Like against a melee hero, like Ember Spirit, you just run down.
I think it's kind of a preference. I think it's a kind of a preference thing, but I've seen quite a few builds. This is definitely one of the builds I rarely see, but like majority of the times, a lot of people kind of skip over Exorcism until level 9 because of it's not exactly the strongest, right? So most of the times by level 8, I see a lot of people go 404. Sometimes they go 413, but you know, right now he's 214, and it's working out. He just got a triple kill.
I mean, he made that build work, right? We saw Silence being extremely vital versus the Weaver, and then the Spirit Siphon obviously keeping himself alive against the Burrow Strike Einshell Sand King, which a lot of people would just die to that early on. I do agree with you, though. I feel like perhaps the Spirit Siphon, you know, just looking at what heroes in this game might have been a very dangerous max at level 7, because both Ember, Sand King, you know, Weaver, all these heroes could technically get away from that Siphon very easily. DDC on the top lane is going to get Burrow Strike after porting out. Batrider comes right in, and that's going to force Victoria away. It is the bait. Inflame in position with the lasso, and that should be a very easy kill. Wait, I believe the TP got cancelled by a glimpse in the mid lane, but regardless, it should be easy enough for Inflame to get the kill, and he does. Alright, maybe
things are not looking good for LGD right now.
Maybe activates an invis, but right under the vision of Observer. Sentry being placed by DDC.
Radiant's mid tower's getting banged up.
And they're okay.
It's another bait. They're baiting.
Are they? I mean, maybe you should know that they do know, right? Because Inflame is just napalming randomly. Yeah, now he just give up his invis and pops back out. Simultaneously, though, Super takes down Tier 1 mid. Doing DK things even when he's not playing DK.
5% spell out. Alright.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. If you hold alt, you can see the max HP as damage.
Wait. Big team fight breaking out on top lane here. Batrider going for the kill. We'll get it, but the fire will take it on him towards the end. Yeah. Okay. Glimpse is available.
2 for 1.
And
going for 1 more. Silence. He's not going to make it.
Okay. Spear Siphon. Warlock was trying to cast a whole bunch of random spells. I'm not sure exactly what.
No, he was trying to buy out items before dying.
Oh, okay. All right.
He didn't even attempt to cast anything.
I saw his staff like just waving back and forth.
No, he was just that was just his auto attack. He was just buying out items.
Oh,
he could have casted Shadow Word on someone or Fatal Bond.
It was hitting the bugs. I think that's what his hero is doing.
Yeah, just giving up. Just gonna buy my items.
All right. Maybe sees Afu, thinks about going right onto him, but Afu's fakes the TP out, and then now X Torrent into a lasso. Where's the lasso? There is available, but now do they have enough damage? Yes, they do.
Oh my god!
And Super guarantees a kill with the silence towards the end. All right, very nicely done. And they want a little bit more. They got the Yule Scepter to buy a little bit of time. Afu in position with a Torrent. No. Where's the Torrent?
No silence, unfortunately. He used it on
yeah.
Use it on the Ember.
I also have to say, Afu has been looking extremely impressive as addition to LFY.
Yeah, definitely. That was another sick play, I guess you can call it. Like, he was definitely out of position, right? And he didn't want to take any risks. He starts TPing out.
Right.
And he realized his team was there to set up. He canceled his TP, and it kind of made maybe hesitate for just a moment, thinking like, oh, I think he messed up. And that moment of hesitation caused him to get caught out and just died.
The other nice added benefit of starting that TP was Ember Spirit quickly identified, oh, I'm not going to get the kill, so let me just walk away. So he just essentially missed out on a lot of that damage. And because of so, Kunkka felt safe enough to, again, cancel his TP and you know, go on him.
Yeah. Well, they're smoked up. Kunkka does have the level 6 now as well. They have huge burst potential.
Right. And they're looking to start on the top lane, but Observer and Sentry in position. Darkseer running past. He's moving very fast. They don't have vision for the Yule Scepter. 11 walks right back in. They want the Weaver instead. They drop the Sentry. X Torrent Bolt on top, and it's going to be a perfect chain stun. Where's the silence? Not necessary, as they have enough, way enough.
Is this a Roshan attempt? They use Ghost. They got.
Yeah, they're running it. Monet's here as well. Yeah, it's going to be Rush. Well, like we pointed out during the drafting phase, they need to do well in the lanes, and they are doing extremely well in the lane. And they are going to get a little bit more. Super. They don't have enough damage.
They're kind of hesitating as they're not too sure. Oh,
Glimpse back in. That's a Troll Warlord, but he's okay. Healing Ward keeping him topped off.
Not too bad for LGD. It could have been a lot worse. If they managed to get that Roshan, that would have been very bad. But yeah.
So I think for the LGD fans out there, even though it's looking pretty bad for the Radiant team, I think it's still okay. Like, one of the strengths of this lineup is that they can play from behind, especially once 011 finishes his blink. And of course, once the Veil comes online from the Ember, they can just single-handedly win some lopsided team fights. Like Vacuum, Static Storm, Triple Remnant with Veil. That's just a wombo combo. But again, more ganks coming their way. Afu drops a sentry, but I believe it was nighttime, so it could not get the vision for the X.
Yeah, just a little bit too late. But I don't know. It's starting to feel like they need to like survive without feeding for quite some time, because you're talking about a Blink Dagger on Darkseer as well as Sand King. Sand King still needs 1,000 gold. So
right.
They're not very close at all. And maybe it's very far behind.
Oh, maybe he's just dead again. Looks like Yule Scepter, or just rather just Silence, was enough. And look at the item he's going for. He's going for a Rod of Atos. Another item that's going to make it really difficult for most of these heroes on LGD side. And I like the fact that they're not missing a beat. Immediate smoke after a kill in the search for another.
Yeah, because I mean, if you think about it, they're accomplishing so much without ever committing the big ultimates, right? They still have Lasso, they still have Rock.
Right.
The only thing they don't have is Exorcism, but that was used from a prior engagement. So they pretty much have everything and are ready to go again.
Here we go, Bad Rider looking for the initiate. They see Yao. Oh,
gets caught out.
They want the Weaver instead. Glimpse is going to cancel it. Is X in place? It's a question. They have to silence. No, the time lapse will come through. Torrent Bow will drop out, and the Rock on top. Oh my god, this is going to be a combo. Triple Remnant in, though, from maybe on the back line. Lots of damage on both sides being spotted out, but somehow DP is still alive throughout all of this. 011 goes right in, but it's a debate. Glimpse back in. It's not going to be enough here, and finally, it's going to be the Darkseer dying. Super is still alive. The Bolt! The Coco Rum! Yule Scepter back up. I'm not sure exactly for what, but alright. It was Bolt, it was Spirit Siphon, it was Shadow Word, and it was LGD getting debated so hard. They were the little kids, and LFI was the people with the white vans and candy, man. It was not a glorious sight. And LFI wins that team fight, and that's going to put him much closer towards our Rod of Atos.
That was like such a crazy team fight, because it wasn't only LFY connecting with like all of the abilities. Like LGD hit a lot of people with the Vacuum Disruptor combo as well as a Burrow Strike, but I mean they even triple remnanted into it. But that was the strength of the Kunkka, right? Everyone survived because of the boat,
right?
And Super just siphoning everyone to death, staying alive. That was just the perfect scenario for LFY.
So I do want to ask you about the yields towards the end for Super. I think maybe he wanted to try to dodge some of the damage from the Coco Rum. Does that work like that?
I'm actually not too certain about the interaction. Like, you're talking about if the Coco Rum starts like taking away your health, if it actually
whether the yields.
I'm actually not sure.
Because I feel like that's what False Promise was able to do before, right? I think at a certain time you were able to use the False Promise damage, but then they patched that away pretty quickly because that was, OP. So I wonder.
Mega OP. I didn't even know that was a thing. It must have been fixed immediately.
Yeah, it was like shortly a thing in quick introduction in Dota 2, or was it Dota 1? But I'm not sure whether that works for Kunkka. I don't think it does.
You know, all I can think about is how was Oracle created in Warcraft 3 when it's that complicated?
Was it? I guess his ultimate is pretty complicated, right?
The dire best do something about
Yeah,
the
I mean,
tower.
the Warcraft engine is
Blown to bits.
an ancient thing.
Oh, 11. Dropping forward. Lasso, will it find him? His search runs out. Oh, there's going to be the X-Torrent
They don't
combo.
even need to lasso. This
Yeah.
is... They pop the ghost. Alright, round 2. Let's go back to Roshan, guys. This time for real.
Maybe is going to try his best to shove the lane in, and he is getting some damage on the tier 2. So earlier you were saying that, you know, LGD are very far away from their items, and I do agree the situation looks really bad for them, but you know, I feel like they're okay still because you're up against a Tro, you're up against a DP, and you still have a lot of real estate. Like, still 4 auto towers. Granted, they can go down very quickly, but I think they still have a little bit of breathing room left.
Well, that is sort of true. At the same time, it's also looking like they're gonna have to make a move very soon, because I think once the Troll Warlord finishes his BKB, you're gonna have a very difficult time.
Right. Well, they got the Blink Dagger online on Sand King as well. That's a big tool. I don't know whether that has been revealed yet. I don't think so, and I think they're grouping up for a smoke now.
And I really, really like Super's item build. It's so good against, like, all of their heroes. If you want to catch out any of them, you know, Rod of Atos is going to stop Sand King from being able to burrow strike out. Ember Spirit is rooted. You know, Weaver is rooted. It's just such a good item pickup here.
Right, during the drafting phase, we painted him in a mindset where he needs to build defensive, but not when you wreck the lane stage so hard, you know? You get the quick heals, and then you fight your way into the Rod of Atos. And now LG is really aggressively looking for a fight. They did drop a ward earlier. They see Inflame, not blinking away just yet. They get off the Burrow Strike. They lock him down, but the bullet's going to fly on top of him. The vacuum wall and the rock being dropped simultaneously. Nobody dies just yet, but here comes Super in position to siphon on pretty much everybody. The mech gets activated. They glimpse him away, but unfortunately the Darkseer still goes down. Victoria just whips completely with his ultimate. 1-for-1 trade, and I think, honestly, LG lucked out pretty hard there. Because that could have looked really bad.
Yeah, it really could have. It's crazy to see just how much LGD have to commit to get a kill. They pretty much hit a spot-on vacuum disruptor combo, and because of the boat, like, Kunkka just survived for so long.
Right.
They had to send the Weaver behind the enemy lines just to pick him off. And because of that, they just couldn't continue the fight.
So, after watching a couple of these smoke gangs, I recalled a conversation I had with Envy, like, a couple of years ago, where he says teams doing a smoke gank at night is, like, super risky. And he doesn't understand why a lot of teams do it, because the success rate is very low. Remember earlier in the game on the top where Kunkka smoked gang at night, like, missed the X because Weaver just, like, Sakushi out of vision range? And just now, I think, like, the Bat Rider for the longest time was able to survive for so long because it took him such a long time to actually see the Bat Rider after the smoke broke. So how do you feel about teams making these smoke ganks at night instead of, you know, finding it easier gank time during the day?
I mean, while it is true that it would be easier, at the same time, you have to remember, like, they want to be aggressive, like, in their current position. So it's a risk they're willing to take, and you know, even though they hadn't had the greatest of success, I mean, this still was
so you
okay
think
for them.
It shows some sort of sign of desperation for LGD right now. They just need to get something going.
They need to try something, right? They're buying themselves time right now. Like, they took a team fight at the enemy tier 2, so even if things go bad, they have a lot of time to prepare for a defense.
Right.
And
Especially
they broke
versus
even,
Tro.
right? So they bought themselves time anyway.
Yeah, especially
Yeah,
versus
definitely.
Tro. Like, if you lose fight in front of your tier 2, you could, like, lose tier 2 and tier 3. But here comes LFY. Exorcism is being saved right now. But top tower looks like a fight would also break out. Maybe is pushing in. We'll quickly jump away from the Bat Rider.
Look at this Inflame build. Blink, pipe.
I mean, you talked about the importance of pipe this game, right?
I like a Kunkka. Pipe. 2 pipes.
They do stack.
Yeah, 2 pipes. And Super, BKB, they're itemizing, I want to say,
Perfectly?
like, perfectly for this game.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really good itemization.
So-
Glimmer Cape on Warlock, they understand a massive amount of magic damage.
They are in an interesting conundrum where the Roshan is about to run out in a minute or so, but I don't think they will be able to finish the BKB in time. So we'll see how they're gonna use. I don't think they're gonna be able to push high ground with this Aegis from Monet.
He's just gonna go backdoor to this.
Why not? Look at this. I don't think people backdoor enough tier 1 towers as it is. A lot of heroes could easily just walk up to it and take it.
Looks like Monet will be finishing up his Sanjin Yasha. This is pretty much the build everyone goes to. So far, LFY looking very much in control. But, I mean, impressively, LGD are doing very well and just kind of keeping it as close as possible. Like,
Yep.
they're definitely going to lose some of their, like, ground in terms of net worth, but after, like, 7 or 8 minutes, they're only down by, like, 4k, so all things considered, they're doing a really good job.
Yeah, a lot of split pushing from Maybe, you know, farming on the enemy half of the map. He hasn't died too much, and I think that in itself is a very impressive point, right? Because getting X puts you in a very tough bind. You can dodge X, you know, if you slight in a good time. And there's still things like, you know, Rod of Atos. So the fact that he's able to split push and give his team space still without dying is very impressive.
Oh, he X'd him.
Oh, as I say that.
Oh my goodness.
As
Alpha
I
is
say
a
that.
god.
Yeah, he's dead.
I cannot believe that just worked.
I didn't see
honestly
the.
cannot believe that worked.
I didn't see the
He
beginning.
had no
of-
vision. He had no vision. He literally just guessed because they have deep wards. They realize maybe it has to be farming somewhere in our jungle.
Right.
He randomly torrents, and
Sees
with
him.
that torrent range for a split second, he X's him.
Yeah. It's not.
That is.
It's not just Afu. I saw earlier Super when he was like walking in enemy jungle. He just randomly threw out a silence just to check. Like they are aware that Ember is just somewhere on this map, and checking at every camp is going to be one of their priorities. So they have been persistently making these type of plays. It's just that one paid off, and unfortunately I didn't.
I'm
catch
gonna
it.
go back and watch that, just to make sure I'm not making things up. But if that is the case, that is a super sick play.
Maybe the Batrider gave him vision. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure he had nothing, unless there was like someone invis or something like that. I'm pretty sure he did that blind, but I'm gonna go back and double check, just in
Okay.
case.
Well, Blink Vacuum is online for the Darkseer. I would say this is.
I think it's a little too late. I'm not
think it's
gonna
too
lie.
late?
I feel like it's a little too
Well, it depends if the BKB comes out, right? If Vacuum Burrow Strike hit, and you have a Storm on top, maybe you have enough damage. But I think the more important thing is they have to make sure they get Afu in it. Because the boat is going to give them enough time to get off these spells. Victoria looking to pour it out. The Yule Scepter will get him. And that is a dead Sand King. Inflame throwing out
No,
the Flame
because-
Break.
Because the crazy thing is, even if you catch out Afu at this point, you have to deal with
The pipes.
BKB, DP, right? You have to deal with a Glimmer Cape Warlock and a Counter Initiation, as well as a Pipe Batrider. Like all of them have
Oh,
so
double
many
pipe.
defensive, so much defensive utility from pretty much everyone. It's just so difficult to initiate. Like you're talking about a 3 to 4 man vacuum combo for that to be, a thing.
Well, it's something they have to rely upon in this stage of the game. Because I don't think they're able to really take fights anymore. What's your thought on the Diffusal Blade on Weaver? Not exactly the most common item choice, considering that you're not countering anything specific here, right?
Trying to think.
Like, there's not a Guardian Angel you need to purge, or...
I mean, at least it gets rid of the Death
Oh.
Prophet Yules.
Well, the team fight might start here.
Oh.
Glimpse back into a static storm. He blinks right out of it. Lasso's gonna be there. The rock on top, stunning everybody. And now these three heroes gonna be in a lot of trouble. 0-11 on the run, but I think he will burn down to the fire. Weaver will be the only one surviving. But on the backside, Afu in position, drops a ward, gives him vision. X, yep, X will find him. X Torrent Bolt with the silence on top. Afu making the plays, but nice Burrow Strike coming through. And I do believe the silence and the X Torrent was stacked a little bit on top. And okay, good try, but unfortunately unable to capitalize on it. Meanwhile, maybe looking to finish a Radies. Interesting build of choice.
What a godly play from the Inflame. Just perfect timing on that Blink Dagger. Waits it out, blinks out of the Disruptor ulti, and turns the fight around.
You know what the crazy thing is? He got hit by Lightning Strike, but he got the lightning on top of his head, but before the actual Lightning Strike hit him, he activated a pipe, which preserved his Blink Dagger, or else his Blink Dagger will get cancelled.
Oh, you're right.
And then he got Storm, and then he blinked out immediately. So like he made clutch ass plays in the span of like 2.5 seconds.
You are right.
That's crazy. This guy's deck is crazy.
LFY. LFY is godlike.
Yeah.
Look at this. LGD are just gonna get destroyed.
No, Victoria! Oh, he had the right idea, but unfortunately they were not in there. Oh.
Here we go. Afu, not afraid of
Silences on everybody. We're okay, that bolt, I don't know, but the troll was on top of everybody and they're all just dying, my goodness. Yule Scepter finds the Darkseer.
You don't know?
X marks a spot.
knows.
They got the Purge on top, Surge is gone, and he's dead. I mean, they might as well just take racks at this point. Yeah, Monet says, team, let's go. I am the hot knife, and they are the butter. And this tower is down fast.
LFY are playing so well at this point. Like, if their Bad Rider bought a Rapier, I wouldn't even question it. Like, they are
I mean,
just looking so crisp. They're doing everything right.
I question it a little bit, but I mean, in Flame yesterday, I still recall those Bat Rider plays. That was some questionable moves, but it is so refreshing.
They have a troll. They have a troll. Rapier is value.
Interesting. Okay. All right. It's so refreshing to see a DP like not feeding. You know, nowadays you see DP is like, oh, 0 and 13. Okay.
I mean, I told you, right? You were doubting the troll as well.
Yeah.
But in the hands of a team that's performing well, it just looks so damn strong. Well, troll queuing up the butterfly. LFY are just like baiting LGD to do Roshan, I feel. Like there were so many different occasions where they could have just went for it, and they just.
And the bait might be successful. Here comes Monet. He's gonna double damage only for a couple more seconds, but he's just walking in, popping the BKB, not hitting anybody just yet. There's a root on the Sand King. Sand King's gone. 0-11 trying to run away, and well, Flame Break pushes him up the cliff. Thank you very much. But Super doesn't care. He goes straight up. Shrine gets out DPS. 2 BKBs are activated, but LFY will go into the pit and claim what is theirs.
Well, Ember Spirit, you are allowed to run away, but you have 0 mana. Gonna have to wait to boost travel out. This is a very sad time for Ember Spirit.
Yo, this Compendium Radiance animation looks lit as heck. Right? This is like one of the highest, I think, rewards.
Oh, you're talking about the Ember?
Yeah, the Radiance.
Look, how does that even work?
Wait.
It's supposed to burn, but it's... Oh, goodbye, Ame. Now he's dead. Yeah, back to the Radiance anyways.
Is this supposed to burn?
It's supposed to be burning, right? But then there's water. How does that even work?
I mean, Radiance is not supposed to burn. It's just supposed to be like really bright and shit, right? He looks Super Saiyan to me. I don't know. Alright, here it goes. Lasso onto the Disruptor. He's gone. Epicenter coming through. I mean, they got 2 pipe. Is this Epicenter gonna...
That's GG. They hit 1 person. That's GG.
Alright. There you go.
Oh, the itemization. Look at that.
Yep.
Atos, silence.
And they call it... I'm not gonna lie, this game looks super easy for LFY.
Yeah, at no point did they struggle. It just looked so easy. And like I said, they're just playing so well. It just looks like they're not making any mistakes.
So,
Super.
where do you think it
Global
started
12.
off wrong for LGD? Like, was it the laning stage? Because you talked about maybe losing out the lane. I think the Darkseer plus Sand King combo did okay. And, like, the Weaver Disruptor also did okay. It was really only the mid lane that struggled a bit, but is that how it started?
I think that actually is not, that wasn't really the case. I think Sand King Darkseer, sure, they did okay, but it wasn't enough to override the fact that Inflame was actually also doing okay, right? They got 2 kills up top, but Inflame was doing just as much in the offlane.
Right.
And I think the biggest thing is that, you know, LGD's lineup is so aggressive, right? They kind of have to snowball and find kills all the time, but they just never make